Well, I think we all collectively knew that the run wouldn't last forever, would it? Alright, chat, welcome back. PNE versus West Brom at home was a bit of a disaster, I'm not going to lie. We do love playing West Brom in the rain at Deepdale for some reason. It's just one of those funny things. But that aside, that mini observation, which is irrelevant to the conversation, West Brom absolutely dicked us down 4-0 and spaffed on our faces as they left the pitch with a last-minute goal. It weren't fun. All game, we were just tactically outclassed by West Brom in every single matter of the fact. I don't think I've seen a side come to Deepdale this season and do what West Brom did, obviously because they're the first one to do it, but even that aside, thinking back to last season, we had results like this last season where we're getting beat 4-0 by Norwich at home and we're going away and we're getting beat 4-1 or 4-0 by Middlesbrough. These kind of results come often in a season for us, and that's the concerning fact that I'm not bothered. See, I'm not bothered about the result itself based on this season, but if we're looking long term, we're just thinking this is the concerning part, because if we're allowing teams to come and beat us 4-0, especially on our own turf, which happens more than it does away, by the way, then provided, touch fucking wood, we ever do get to the promised land, and you've got teams with absolute insane levels of quality up there. You're talking your Man City, your Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man United. And these kind of teams, the big six, your Chelseas and whatnot. Even though Chelsea is shit, I think we beat Chelsea. These kind of teams in the Prem, they wouldn't beat us 4-0, they'd be beating us 9-0. It's a humiliation that we don't want to be taking. But it's football, I guess. These kind of results do happen, but that aside, let's take a look at the stats, shall we? West Brom took 19 shots and we took 5. We had 1 on target to their 6, which surprisingly I'd expect a lot more of the shots to go on target, to be honest with you, with how easily we gave them those chances all fucking game. They was just threw it on goal basically every 5 minutes. It was crazy. We had more spoils of the possession, surprisingly, which is yet another game we've lost where we've had more possession. I don't believe the passing accuracy for us was better than them. Not at all. We gave away so many dead and loose balls. It was fucking unreal. I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, as you can clearly see, they had a good attacking display, and we tried to provide a defensive display, but it just weren't happening for us. Plenty of players made individual mistakes and whatnot. It even got to the point, I believe it was either 2-0 or 3-0 down. In the middle of the pitch, fucking Alan Brown and Brad Potts were almost fighting each other. It got to that level of humiliation. It's like, what is going on this pitch? Give your fucking head a wobble. You know what I mean? You can't, like, fair enough if you're having a tuffle with someone who's just tried to break your left leg, trying to take the ball off you. The captain of the team, pushing and shoving around one of the players, and play responding in turn by doing the same thing, when both, to some extent, were at fault for the goal. It's like arguing at five-a-side league at school or something, saying, no, you should have been there, why weren't you marking your man? It was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Anyways, Woodman a 5. Couldn't get anywhere near the first 2 goals. Maybe he could have done better for the first one, if I'll be honest. Kept Wallace out just before half-time, wrong-footed from Philip strike, and will be hugely disappointed to concede 4. Story a 4. Slipped up for West Brom's second goal with his sluggish pass intercepted by Moa inside the box. A very bad day at the office for Story. Lindsay a 5, kept going but must take responsibility for shipping 4 goals, which is true. Even though he tried his best in places, there was a lot, and I mean a lot of times where Lindsay's let something go through. Hughes a 5, one of the several players lacking energy on the day that couldn't throw Albion's attack. I wouldn't say one of the several, I think everyone was basically lacking energy. They all looked like they'd been out to the pub the night before on a fucking crew, doing the hunging out their ass, trying their best to keep the ball going. Potts a 5, off the pace for the first time this season, looked fatigued, had a difficult afternoon, and it doesn't surprise me because we've played the same players week in, week out, because we don't have the depth to substitute these guys out and give them a rest. Like, people will be throwing hands at Ryan Law for making a change to rest some of these players, but they need to rest. They've been doing non-stop hard yards in training and on the pitch for 8 weeks now, and it's probably getting to them. That's why Brown was taken off at half-time last week, and that's why Keane got the injury he got against France or whatever team he got injured against, I can't remember. But that's why Keane suffered from that fatigue injury as well. Everyone has been moving fucking miles. I know you're a footballer, you're supposed to be athletic and you can cover these distances, but it's beside the point. You know, people get rotated. No team will play the same lineup every single week. The only reason we're doing this is because we do not have any quality on our bench. Yeah, which, I mean, sure, there's bits, and I mean bits, of quality going on that bench. Calvin Ramsey's still injured. Keane Best has been sent back to the academy because Brady's come back through, and Brady is fucking awful. Ben Woodburn's on the bench. He's not going to do anything, is he? The reserve keeper, you don't even need to put him into the conversation. Greg Cunningham probably should get a few minutes here and there, but he won't get any minutes. Will Keane's now on the bench until he can get himself back on the pitch, but then who do you drop in favour of Will Keane? It's a selection headache, and I can see where Ryan Law's coming from in his interviews when he says he has these selection headaches, but at the same time, it's not much of a headache when you're thinking about your first starting 11, because there's nothing on the bench to replace the ones that are already on the team. I don't think I'd take anyone off in favour. I would not be starting Brady. I would always be starting, based on what I've seen this season, I would always be starting Dwayne Holmes, Alan Brown, Liam Miller, maybe McCann because he's had 2 off days now. Potts first off day, I'll let him off. Obviously you start Woodman. I've not really seen much of Big Miller yet, but no one's been finding him. He's got that one goal like 2 weeks ago, and he's had 2 headers stopped from point blank range. We've not seen much of him yet. He has not hit the ground running as much as people said he did after he scored. He's just not. But it is what it is. Ryan Linton a 5. Midway on the hour tried to get stuck in, but was rash in some of his off the ball work. Struggled to bring in any control. McCann a 5. Midway half time after a first tough half. Won some early tackles, put himself about, but West Brom dominated the midfield. They absolutely ran circles around McCann. Miller a 6, few positive runs, but West Brom doubled up on him, sent a first half chance over and worked hard defensively. I really don't understand why Brown didn't take the shot, in all honesty, and why he's had to lay it off for a second. Because Brown could have very easily struck that ball. Fair enough, Miller's in more space and he's got the easier shot, but at the same time, Brown very well could have taken that ball. But no, it is what it is. I think if we did get that goal and we scored it 1-1, maybe it would have lifted a few spirits and things. There would have been less weight on shoulders and whatnot after the early goal, but you know, it might have been the kick up the ass they needed. But I can't say if buts and maybes because it's just not. We can't think about if buts and maybes. It's happened. Another thing as well I've noticed is how much Miller has had ground to cover compared to a lot of people yesterday. There was he tried to make a pass that was robbed from him, and he's gone sprinting across the entire pitch to win the ball back and successfully does so. You tell me why the other 3 midfielders did nothing to get that ball back and Miller's had to sprint across the entire fucking pitch to get it back. What are they doing? Get your finger out your fucking ass and move your legs. You know, the game's, yeah, fair enough, you're 2-0 down, 3-0 down, but you know, fucking look at that Leeds game we had a decade ago when we go to Leeds and we go like 4-0 down or something like that. And we end up winning back. We come back and we win 5-4, was it? Like 5-6, something like that, 6-5? It was a crazy game. Things like that are possible. You just got to have that fucking mentality to be able to get through it, but oh well. Holmes a 6, alive to lose balls, carried the ball on occasions. So a powerful shot saved just before half time, and that was our only shot on target, by the way. Alan Brown a 5, kept trying to close West Brom defenders down, but Penny never managed to press Albion with any success. An unwanted spat with Potts after the 3rd goal, yep. I think Brown, for what it was worth, when he was trying to hold the ball, he did well. But other than that, it's one of those games that he couldn't take by the neck. And then Big Millie isolated up top for his 63 minutes, made his runs off the ball but couldn't get into the game. I really do not understand why he was taken off, and then Will Keane replaced him. Why would you not have 2 up front? You are 3-0 down. Get 2 up front for a better chance to score. Is that not logic or not? Brady at 5, came on at half time, sent some crosses into the box, didn't have the desired impact. They weren't brilliant crosses all the time, some of them were. But it is what it is. Will Keane a 6, made a couple of things happen in the final third, but Preston could have played all day and not scored. Whiteman a 6, got on the ball, played his passes. But the game was gone when he came on, could have done with him on at half time. Cleared the crossbar with a first shot from the edge of the box, tried to get some combo going. Yeah, I think Whiteman should be starting games, and if not starting them, coming on at half-time at least. Like, Whiteman, when Whiteman came on, I felt a teeny bit more confident in what was going on, because Whiteman seemed to know what the fuck he was doing. But at the same time, he also looked baffled by a lot of what was going on the pitch. He was like, what am I doing here? Anyway, so let's see the manager's reaction. No doubt there's going to be people on Twitter shouting for Law to be out. I've already seen a few of them, which can I just say, is fucking outrageous. We're sat 3rd in the league still. We was top of the league for about 3 weeks running. We've had the best start to our campaign in 125 years. We lose one game and they want the manager sacked. You cannot please a Preston fan. It's fucking impossible. I say a Preston fan, I mean the Preston Plastics that support United. I like to call them the Preston Spastics. Right, Ryan Lowe, I'm obviously disappointed. I don't think anyone wants to lose a game of football like that. We were nowhere near the levels expected and the levels we've been at. You can't give a good team in West Brom, who are well coached and have some good players, the opportunity to do that, do you? So, yeah, listen, disappointed, but I am proper proud of the group because they kept going until the end. No, they fucking did not. They was trying to survive. The quality wasn't there, which we know. The effort was there and had been terrific. The 4 goals are disappointing, but we've only lost 3 points and we're still in good position. I agree. There you go, keeping a level head. It's early doors, I've said that all along, and what we have to do now is pick ourselves up. We will debrief the game today and tomorrow, show it to the lads on Monday. Then move on to the next one because that's all you can do. Gone are the days when I get too down and disappointed because I've got a group of players who work their absolute socks off for the football club and for me. Today's a day we need to get over very quickly because you don't expect that from the group we've had so far this season. It is the manner of the defeat and I have to pick the lads up. They know it is pointless me shouting and bawling at them. They know it wasn't good enough as a team. The quicker we get over it, and I've said it, I want smiles on faces Monday morning and we can go again. You are going to lose games of football, but the manner of it was disappointing and they know that. The second goal is a mistake, which Jordan Story knows, but he has been terrific for us. I told him to keep his head up at half time. I told him to swim, not sink. I'm not going to lie, that boy sank into the grass. West Brom were good when we gifted it to them, to be honest. We turned the ball over too much in the first half. There were a lot of passes turned over. Probably the highest all season in the first half, which you can't do. We probably tried to play a bit too much football in our defensive third, rather than the top end of the pitch. I'm not taking anything away from Brom. They pressed us, got about us and scored 4 goals. Same team and personnel who were out there had won 6 out of 8. So you can say to bring more freshness in, but the freshness will probably be this week because of the games we've got coming up. We played Leicester on Wednesday. Top of the league team. The team that is like, Ipswich are, but the Leicester are playing as we speak and they're winning, so yeah, it will be Leicester. You know, Leicester probably should be running away with this league. There is no blame culture here, and there is nobody we point the finger at. Yes, you point the finger at you, and you because you were shit. We look at ourselves collectively, and we weren't good enough from start to finish. I just told them to get their heads up. They know that the performance wasn't good enough. I said to them that there are games you cannot have a day off. You do it there. I said to them that they are the games you cannot have an off day in when you are third in the league and everyone wants to beat you. West Brom came to beat us today and we were nowhere near their levels. We will debrief it, move on and bounce back on Monday. After the third goal went in, Brad Potts and the captain Alan Brown exchanged heated words on the pitch and needed to be separated by teammates. Lowe was asked about that spat in his post-match press conference and had no problem with it. Oh yeah, he's a scouser, isn't he? I didn't know what happened, said Lowe. I just asked them at the end because I saw them doing something and the players got in between them. I said to them in there, is it dealt with? And they said, yeah, it's done, it's gone. But I'm absolutely pleased that happens because they care. If they didn't and walked away with their heads down, but they care. Brownie's captain and Potts has been terrific. So if they've got a bit of a beef about conceding a goal, then I am right up for that. It is right up my street, yeah. But one thing I do know is that they will have shook hands, hugged it out, and we go again because they're teammates. I respect that. Because at the end of the day, Brown is definitely passionate about this football club. I know Potts is as well. They're both two passionate players, and if you're conceding goals like that, neither of them. See, they was involved in the conceding of the goal, sure, but I think if they're trying to point fingers or whatnot, or they're trying to make excuses up, then obviously Brown's going to try and give his head a wobble because this season Brown is actually being a fucking captain. He's been a junior captain for not 5. That's an exaggeration, for a couple of years now. And I think he started to finally settle into the role. You know, like what Huntington used to be, or fucking Tom Clark. He used to be that figure where everyone looks up to you and you can get that team spirit going. But yeah, no, I suppose I can see where he's coming from. But at the same time, it's a bit shocking to watch when you don't have the context. But looking at it in that light, I suppose it's not so bad. But still, I'd rather it not happen. To be honest with you, just in case things do not solve themselves. But yeah, my verdict on this match is, if anything, hopefully it's a blip, because like I said, we've got 2 very, very tough games coming up back to back, which is Leicester and Ipswich, the league leaders. And then as soon as we come back from the international break, we play fucking Millwall and Southampton, both at home. So it's we've got 2 aways and then 2 homes on the bounce. It's a very, very tough lineup of fixtures in October. I'm going to be very honest. This is the hardest month we've got for a while. And if we can somehow power through this and show that West Brom was a blip, then all is well and good. I'm going to lift my head up. But the point is, why I think West Brom is a blip and why it should be a learning experience is because, like you say, how we've been playing against every other team. Yeah, fair enough, West Brom aren't like those teams. They were running around pressing us all fucking game. They wanted to break our legs for that ball. They could keep running all day, unlike other teams that try and do the same thing like Plymouth. The difference is West Brom has a striking quality, and that is they have good finishers, natural born finishers, whereas we've got Will Keane and someone who doesn't even speak English. Fair enough, we've got Ched and Reece in rehab, but there's no guarantee on when they're getting back. You know, he said Plymouth for Reece, but that's not happened, and now it's in the next couple of weeks, hopefully before November. And Ched is hopefully around the time we play Leeds at home, which is fucking Boxing Day. They both said, he said they'll both be back around or before Christmas. That's still a while. Yeah, fair enough, they're back on the grass training, but I can see why people are saying, yeah, so if they're training and if they're full contact training, why can't they go back? Well, you see, the thing is, Reece has suffered a leg injury, and Ched's had a neck injury where if he carried on playing, he could have broke his fucking neck. I don't think they're going to want to rush them back and potentially break Reece's leg and paralyse Ched in a wheelchair for the fucking remaining 40 years of his life. It's the definition of play it safe, and I can see why they want to do that. We do need depth, but if you're gonna be using these two strikers for the next couple of months, and then if they get fucked by the time Reece and Evans were due to come back, but they're also fucked still, you got no options up front, and we're gonna have to start playing Ben Woodburn as striker. I don't think any fucker wants that. So yeah, it is what it is. We need freshness, sure. We need to freshen up a little bit, but hopefully, like I say, we can travel to King Power on Wednesday night and not be depressed by the time we get back on the coach. So, I suppose that's that. Like I say, give your heads a wobble. Put your finger out your ass a wee bit. You know, you can't be taking anything for granted. You got to go for it. And fingers crossed, Wednesday night and Saturday will be a bit more of a success than this was, because I do not really fancy experiencing another dicking like this for at least a few weeks. I expect another one eventually. It will happen. I know it's going to happen. I just don't know when. And if it happens within the next couple of weeks, then it's not going to be good on the players, and I think the run is probably dead. And that's when we're going to drop back to mid-table where we belong. So, yeah, how did Preston get to the top of the table? They fell. Simple as that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you when we cover Leicester on Thursday.